Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fine. You're listening to Elton Talks. I'm your host Elton, and in this episode we are going to be discussing about the finale of Loki season 1 for all time always. The opening of this episode with Tony's repulsors powering up and all recognizable dialogues playing through the Marvel logo and even real life people too are heard. That totally set the stage for this crazy episode. We have got 3 Disney Plus series from Marvel Studios so far, and it seems surreal after no MCU content for more than a year. However, the much awaited Loki series is now complete, and its finale has me excited but worried. The Disney Plus MCU shows had been character centric and didn't seem to cause much change in the larger MCU, except for some Monica updates, but Loki changed that by revealing He Who Remains, a variant of Kang played by the marvelous Jonathan Majors. But did it take away from Loki's story? Was the story too complicated for audience who watched and loved grounded Marvel stories? Let's discuss Loki's journey. Looking back on the series, the first 2 episodes set an expectation for what was going to happen. The third changed it, the fourth changed it, and only in the fifth episode we got a clear picture of where the story is headed. But despite the many Easter eggs for Kang, a lot of people, including me, thought the main villain could be an evil King Loki, as there were scenes in the trailer that featured Loki on the throne of Asgard. That thought was mainly because we believed that the story would favor Loki and give us satisfactory arc for the god of mischief. The variant we follow was trying to take over Midgard before he was captured. He was jealous of Thor and was working for Thanos. His journey was realizing his destiny and where it all ended, and hence he needed to change. The change comes in the form of another variant, Sylvie, who Loki instantly seemed to fall for. And working closely with her to take down the TVA and meeting his variants made him realize that he is more powerful than he thinks, but the fact remains that he can't be trusted. I think the moment where Loki tells Sylvie that she can't trust and he can't be trusted is the point the show is trying to make on a personal level for the character of Loki. I may be missing out on very important details that show the change Loki has gone through in the series. If you noticed anything that changes the character forever, like the rise of the Scarlet Witch or the new Captain America, let me know in the comments down below. Behold the multiverse. Did Sylvie open the multiverse? We all thought that Wanda would be the one to break open the multiverse in WandaVision. The finale clearly didn't do that, but the post-credit scene still left some doubts whether Wanda could break open the multiverse in search for her children, who she let go after knowing they were not real and the pain she caused to others trying to make it real. Every setup, like when in episode 3 and 5 Sylvie asks Loki how she can be sure he won't betray her, started making sense when He Who Remains explanation felt like lies to Sylvie and truth to Loki. Ultimately, they fight it out and Sylvie finally kisses Loki, which turned out to also be a distraction to send him out of the way so she could kill He Who Remains. I love the dialogue where He Who Remains says, "I'll see you soon," and winks. We all know who is coming. Sylvie does realize that she has made a terrible mistake. It will be interesting to see what her role will be if she remains a major part of season 2. But the timeline had already started branching before Loki and Sylvie expressed their difference in thoughts about what was being said. Some fans have synced the Scarlet Witch transformation scene with the timeline beginning to branch, and it makes sense that Wanda accepting a role as a Scarlet Witch, a Nexus being, through everything He Who Remains work towards out the window, as a Nexus being can't be controlled and could do anything. I mean, she is a being capable of spontaneous creation, as Agatha said. This could just be a coincidence but not impossible. It could be someone else off screen who broke open the multiverse, perhaps the main antagonist of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or some scientist who discovered time travel of the multiverse. Looking at you, Nathaniel Richards aka Kang, Reed Richards and Norman Oscorp. All said and done, the multiverse is now open, and seeing 3 Spider-Man together with antagonists from the 3 franchises seems more legit, which will then lead into Doctor Strange cleaning up everyone's mess in a sequel. Too complicated? With the introduction of complex concepts like the multiverse, time travel, and variants, I feel many casual audience may tune out of the MCU. But if shows like Dark can be loud, I think having a similar show in the MCU wouldn't hurt. Rather, they would give us amazing stories set in the MCU, and alienating some audience may be a price that needs to be paid. Not to forget, we had a grounded story in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Black Widow, which will continue with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Armor Wars, and Ironheart Disney Plus series. He Who Remains. As I said in the review for episode 5, I went in with low expectations, but when that elevator door opened, I knew things just got real and that we were in for one crazy finale. I've heard a lot about the acting of Jonathan Majors and Tatiana Maslany, who were cast as Kang and She-Hulk, and was looking forward to seeing them acting for the first time. To be honest, throughout the episode, I was wondering why had Jonathan Majors made the acting decisions he made. But when I rewatched the episode, his performance was just brilliant. Getting to see Loki, the god of mischief, interact with Kang, a time-traveling supervillain in the MCU, was surreal, knowing the potential and comic history of these characters. One reviewer pointed out that He Who Remains laughs when the threshold is crossed because he is excited that for once he doesn't know what's going to happen, and that is reflected in his acting, where he brings the necessary unpredictability to his life by being unpredictable himself, like jumping on the table in the midst of a conversation with Loki and Sylvie. On the first two viewings, I was impressed with the route Marvel chose, which was to make the character good and have him hint at his evil variants, which was a terrific line delivered very well. But I realized that he also mentions that he paved the way for Loki and Sylvie to be here, and also sent Miss Minutes to make them an offer before he met them. So how sure are we that what we witnessed wasn't part of a much greater plan? I think it's very likely that He Who Remains knew that he would and wanted to be killed, which turned something in his favor. Anything is possible when time travel and Kang are involved. Season 2. Loki seems to have a finale that directly affects the movies, which I wanted, but I got used to having a satisfying end to the story arc for the lead character in these shows, which I felt was missing here. Maybe that's because the story arc is not complete, which is taking us back to the movie formula with the story arc of a character span multiple movies. Season 2 will definitely deal partially, if not entirely, with the multiverse and Kang, but I won't be surprised if major parts of the setup don't have any effect on the movies. Renslayer's headed into the unknown, just like White Vision. She surely got a message in the files that Miss Minutes gave her from He Who Remains, or maybe an alternate version of Kang. The ending where Mobius doesn't recognize Loki and the Kang statue is revealed doesn't seem like another TVA, as there is supposed to be only one. It could be that after the multiverse opened up, Kang brainwashed everyone in the TVA to fulfill his agenda, and hence he was allowing the timelines to branch, and we will deal with this and his plans in Season 2. Anyway, Loki had a very unique feel, and I would love to see more of it. Let me know your predictions for Season 2. It's an exciting new phase that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has started, and definitely looking forward for a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer and just to see what that movie is going to be about, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and even possibly Thor Love and Thunder, because I've heard reports that there are multiple versions of Thor going to appear in the movie. So I'm super excited after this crazy finale for Loki. Let's just wait and see what's going to happen. And until then, until the next MCU project, which is What If, releasing on August 11th, and that trailer looks amazing. So I may or may not be doing these episode to episode review. It depends on the content that the show gives us, so I'll just decide when the show comes out. So until then, you guys take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Keep the positivity going. Love you 3000.